TG Geeks, episode 269, April 13th, 2020. Film Festivals and Pandemics, Part 2. Hello and welcome to another webcast from tggeeks.com, where Ben and Keith, the Two Gay Geeks, talk about all aspects of geekdom and nerdery, sci-fi, comics, film, horror genre. You name it, we talk about it. I am Keith Lane, and we're coming to you from TG Squared Studios in lovely, allergy-isolated Phoenix, Arizona.
And I am Ben Raggington, also coming to you from such an allergy-ridden place that it makes my voice sound like I'm in the pit of despair, Phoenix, Arizona.
Yeah, I it's too bad that the whole thing rolled around at allergy season.
Oh, I know.
I don't know if I've got 5 days to live or if I just need to take a Claritin.
I know. That's the sad part. It's driving me mad.
Get on with it.
Prepare for hyperdrive.
Meanwhile, in the Hall of Episodes, the Two Gay Geeks are discussing this.
Well, I said Pandemics and Film Festivals Part 2. This week we have Jason Carney. He's the executive director of the Phoenix Film Festival to talk about how he's feeling about all of the cancellations and what path forward Phoenix Film Festival has going forward.
Pretty much.
And birthday shout-outs. Featured podcast of the week. This one is not a podcast. And then everybody's favorite, feedback, shout outs. And then our second segment, if we get there, we got a little something to talk about and have our weekly recap and a regular shout out. So let's get on with this show. And this time we welcome back to the show. He's been on a couple of times, but we have Jason Carney, who is the executive director of Phoenix Film Festival, one of the top 10 best film festivals in the world. Welcome to the show, Jason.
Yay.
Yeah.
Hey guys, good to talk to you again.
Good talking to you too.
So, as you know, well, as
he
you
knows
know very well, you had to cancel the Phoenix Film Festival this year because of the madness in the world and the COVID-19.
The Black Plague.
Yes, the Black Plague. So tell us, well, before we do that, kind of give us a little bit of background of who you are and how Phoenix Film Festival got started and all of that kind of neat stuff for people that have not listened to the show before and are not familiar with you.
Oh, of course. Yeah. The Phoenix Film Festival started way back in 2001 by Chris Lamont and Golan Ramris, a couple filmmakers who they were disappointed that there wasn't a real first-class festival in a city the size of Phoenix. And so they kicked it off, and they were hoping to get a 500-600 people, and they got like 3,000.
Oh my God!
And and so the response was overwhelming, and it was the first year, and Greg Hall, who you guys know, was the original program director, and still programs the feature films. And he and I went to high school, and so he got me involved the first year, just volunteering, and it was kind of all hands on deck. And Greg and I ended up, running the theater operations that first year. And for the next 3 years, we were downtown. And then in 2004, we moved up to the Harkin Scottsdale 101. And we just saw a huge spike in attendance where we're passing, we're getting up in 10,000s. And, over the years, we've been up there. And we went from 4 days to 8 days to now 11 days and 28,000 people now. And this became my full-time gig as the executive director in 2005.
Wow.
And so this has been 15 years for me, and 20 years for the festival.
Wow.
And so, it's been a great amount of growth for us, and not only, in attendance and scope of the festival, but just, the quality of films that we get.
Exactly.
And in terms of this year, we weren't canceling. We're postponing. We're going to have a festival, fellas.
Yeah. Okay. So that gives the little history. So how were you feeling at that time? I know that we were in New York City, and we were actually supposed to go
that's right.
to the opera, and the day that it was about 3:00 in the afternoon that on that Thursday, I got the email. Well, I didn't get the email. I got a text because my email wasn't coming. That email didn't come to my phone, but I got a text that they had canceled all of the performances. And actually, I had gotten an email the day we got there that they canceled our backstage tour that we had. And it was like, oh my God, it's just kind of a rolling thing. And then the next day they closed Broadway. And I was feeling... there's probably still expletives hanging over New York.
Oh my goodness! I mean, yeah. I mean, all you have to do is just find a quiet place in New York, if possible, and you're going to hear a bunch of F-bombs all over the place. Yeah. And that they're still echoing in that concrete canyon that we were in.
And I know you're probably feeling a little bit the same because I mean yours is a significantly bigger issue than what we were facing. I mean, you had all of this planning.
Oh yeah, I saw your post, Jason.
Yes, I did.
Yeah, you were voicing my inner thoughts.
Exactly. So tell us.
There was an F-bomb, wasn't there?
Yes, there was.
I think there was. Yeah,
in all capitals. and I could just hear it.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think the hardest part was it was evolving so quickly.
Right.
Like we are going from okay, this is what we're doing to, okay, we can do this. We had, the weekend where we announced that we had gotten to the point where we were going to do some major scheduling, restructuring to try to allow plenty of time in between films. We had canceled all the parties and we were like, okay, we think we can do this, and we're basically getting rid of any situations where people were congregating.
Right.
And it just, and we had a lot of other plans, like nobody exits through the lobby, everybody goes out the door to the outside and then circles back through. So all these little things that we could do to try to, mitigate people hanging out together in a small space.
Right.
Like you guys have been there, how crazy it gets.
Oh my God, yes.
And and we were trying to, we were going to set it up where we had so much time in between films, and you had okay, at this time you should arrive at the theater if you have a VIP pass, this time for a festival pass, this time for a single ticket, and we were going to do that for every single screening. So we had it all mapped out when you should come inside to the theater. And so we were trying to eliminate lines, and we had a lot of other plans like that. And it just got to the point where it was just, there's no way we could I felt like we had done everything we could, but the everything we really could was to not have the event. And so it got to the point where it was like, are we comfortable putting, our people who we, our volunteers on our team who we, love and care about, in the way of this? And it was just like, no, we're not going to do that. So that happened between having a staff meeting and a volunteer orientation, and then 2 hours later saying, we're not going to do this.
Yeah.
And then, and then the next day, the governor announced limiting the number of people together. And then 2 days later, all the theaters were shut down. Right. So, I mean, really, we were slightly ahead. And I think we might have been the last festival in that time frame to postpone. And it wasn't because we were being heartless or thoughtless. We were just being super careful, making sure,
right.
We know what we're doing, and we know, all the facts behind it. We were in touch with Harkins all the way through our theater partner. Those of you who Harkins Theaters is a great chain in Arizona. And so we were working really tightly with them as we were making our decision. And so, we wanted to do what was best all around for the community. And it wasn't, it was just okay, we've tried to mitigate every opportunity, but it's just not enough. And so we just got to postpone this thing. And whenever it happens, and we'll work on it until then.
Right. So I guess,
and it's OPCA. Just and the worst thing is like over the last 3 weeks, how Facebook, they have the memories.
Right.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
So you're seeing all of these like
I know. Exactly.
festival pictures, and it's just like rubbing salt in the wounds, and it's nice to see it, but it's like
Not
it's
now.
basically bittersweet. I think is probably the best way to put it.
Yeah, I guess what was it? South by Southwest was the first big one that we were familiar with that canceled, and then you guys, and then it just kind of cascaded
snowballed.
from there.
Got canceled.
Canceled.
One of our festival programming friends in Southern California, Miguel Rodriguez, I mean, he started canceling. He has numerous film festivals. He had to cancel all of those.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just been a nightmare.
Yeah, he's still planning on doing the regular one in September, but that's even
That's
kind of
questionable
at this point. So, what is your plan? You said you've postponed, but and I'm not asking you for a hard and fast date, but what is the plan to go forward? You obviously are going to do it at some point, but it obviously. Can you watch me backpedaling here and hear me backpedaling? Because I don't want to put you on the spot and then say, yeah, we heard it on that podcast. Jason said it's going to be on July 12th or something like that, Obviously,
July 12th would be amazing.
Exactly. But obviously we have to look what's happening in the world and see what what's going to happen. So what is the plan? Do you have something that you said, okay, once we know, a date that we feel comfortable with, can you ramp up pretty quickly, or is it still going to be a somewhat lengthy process to try to get that done? And where are you going from here?
It's a really good question, and something we've kind of started working on. It all obviously depends on our local governments,
Right.
and communities, what the restrictions are going to be, and Hark and Feed or what they are going to do. We've got to, they've got a huge stake in this, and we're gonna, what we were doing is kind of taking our cues from them, because they're a good company. They wanna do things for the community, and they want to do things right.
Right.
And so, we're going to, if they say, okay, we can do this, but you've got to have 50%, limits, or, you can only do this many screenings in a day, or you can have this many screens, we're flexible and we're super adaptable, basically.
Right.
We've got all these films. We've already got this great lineup, and we've been in touch with all of our filmmakers and distributors kind of all along the way. I just sent an email off middle of last week just saying, hey, we're still here. We're still planning to do this. Stick with us. We hope you're safe. And we'll keep doing that with that communication. And we kind of feel like when we get an all clear that we could execute the festival like on a 6 to 8 week timeline.
Oh, cool.
In terms of getting it up and running and marketing it.
That's
the
cool.
Marketing is really the effort that we have to put into it. I can, we'll have kind of a timeline. Okay, this is what we've got to do, and this is what we've got to do. And if we have to move up that timeline a little bit because we have some opportunities, well, then we'll do that.
Right.
It's the hard part is a big part of it is picking the films, and we've got that process done. And we'll probably have to substitute one or two here and there. That's
and you may not have.
I mean, we were already doing that,
Right. And you may not have
leading up to it, we lost a couple of films.
Yeah, the participation of the filmmakers too is going to be probably somewhat limited, depending on But that at least their film gets in the film festival, and that is that's the whole point for a lot of times,
Right. They've been selected to this festival, and we want to do right by them because we love their films, and we'll get creative. Let's say, this guy was going to come, but he can't come now, but hey, he wants to FaceTime and do a Q&A that way.
Yep.
Let's see what we can do to make that happen. Those little things. And I think, I'm sure, everybody will be concerned, and we'll definitely, all those little things we were talking about doing, we're not abandoning. And so we'll be able to put these ideas in place to keep mitigating, congregating and try to give people their space bubbles.
Right.
A lot of people already love their space bubbles, so they're really excited about this now.
Exactly. I'm going to have 5 seats around me in every direction.
It's amazing. But, trying to, we're going to be responsible. We're going to be thoughtful. We do have a good, a percentage of older audiences. We're fortunate that our demo is super wide.
Exactly.
We go from younger folks to older folks, but we want to be mindful of our older audiences too and make sure they're taken care of because, we can't forget about them. They've been supportive of us and they love our films just as much, as the 20-somethings love our films.
Exactly.
So
the
we
people
be
like
mindful
us.
of everybody in our audience.
The people like us that are ancient.
Speak for yourself. One of the things that's happening now is I know that there are some there's some movement.
This is the $64,000 question.
Well, yeah, I know that there's some movement by some people to move festivals to some sort of an online platform, just to kind of get things going. I guess it serves several purposes. One, it does get films viewed by people, and then two, it also gives us poor sods who are, suffering quarantine, or as I like to put it, exiled for the good of the realm. It gives them an opportunity to be able to see things that they would normally have an opportunity to catch, but obviously we can't now. So is that even a possibility that maybe, not 100%, but is there a chance that maybe there might be some kind of online platform by which some movies can be made available from Phoenix Film?
We're holding back like our festival selections. We're working with a couple of a few distributors now where if you go to our website, there's a PFF Home Movies where you can watch films from Magnolia, from Film Movement, from Greenwich Entertainment. So all these distributors who we normally work with for the festival have done some online virtual screening. And so we're programming those films through our website. We're trying to hold our festival films because we've created a nice balance of films. And so we want to show them and you guys know, just as good as anybody else, what a great neighborhood community feel that the festival has.
Oh yeah,
yes. Film festival, especially, I like to say especially ours because everything happens in one place,
right?
And that's hard to replace without with going online and watching films.
Yeah.
It's just not quite the same. It's great because you get access to the films, but you miss that shared interaction between your fellow film goers, seeing filmmakers, and it's just the feeling of that thing when those credits start rolling and you're excited about what you're going to see, and that's hard to replicate at home as much as there's so many distractions, and you can work to make that happen, but it's just not the same.
Right.
I'm just old.
Well,
I think you're onto something.
I love that feeling in a theater.
I do too. And Keith and I talked about this, and we had an excellent example of a movie we saw.
Oh my God.
In San Diego at Horrible Imaginings some years ago. It was a horror comedy called The Greasy Strangler. And we have said repeatedly, this is a movie that should never be watched alone. It needs to be seen with a group of at least 6 people or more.
Yep.
Because that is a shared experience.
It is. The larger the group, the better the experience, because it's what did I just watch?
Yeah, in fact, we finished watching it, and Miguel Rodriguez was in the same row with us, and he walked up to the stage after the film was over. And he says, "I've never heard more WTFs in any showing than I did tonight." And that's the fun of it, because you got that community experience at being at a festival. And while I sort of applaud the idea of some movies being made online that normally wouldn't be, so that they can get some sort of viewing opportunity for people that are out there, I don't want to lose the festival.
Right.
It's such a great opportunity to be able to, like I said, you get to meet the filmmakers, but there's something that's really enjoyable about seeing a movie with other people.
Yeah, because you're all on the same team. Like when
Exactly.
that movie starts, you're all rooting for this film to be awesome.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Or like, I think that happens more in a festival environment than in a, regular going to the movies thing where you're all just like rooting for this little film.
Right.
Or even if it's a bigger film, you're like excited. I get to see it first.
Right, exactly.
I get to tell all my friends about this and stuff, and you get to talk about it like after the movie, like if you do when there's Q&A, like people are asking the same questions that you have, or people are expressing the same thoughts you have, or vice versa, and that just gets like an energy you just can't replicate it.
Right. So I just want to, and I'm not trying to force your hand or anything like this, but a suggestion and a thought that I had was, when we talked to the two gals last week, because they're in that representation mode and they foresee that digital is, at least for the near future, the wave of what we're going to see, because South by Southwest is doing it and some others are doing that type of thing. And I made the suggestion of, if they do decide to cancel and then do it all online, how would they say get people to subscribe to that? And would it be individually? And it also gives a wider audience to people that would not normally see these films. Have you thought about, after the fact, of saying pick best of, or doing some kind of digital? I know it that would require changing the contracts and all of that kind of neat stuff, but I think unfortunately we're in that era now where a lot of contractual arrangements are going to be changed because of this.
Yeah, I think the good thing about it, a good chunk of our feature films is they end up with some kind of distribution, whether it's like online or whether they're VOD or some limited theatrical. And so we've been really lucky that we have that caliber of film where they're going to be available, within the next year, probably 75% of them at least, maybe even higher. Maybe like 90% of them are going to be available that way. It's just a few that slip through the cracks, and sometimes that's just contract issues and stuff like that. So we feel like that's going to happen. And, I think maybe we can get more involved in that part of things.
Yeah.
But with so many companies now doing it, but it's something we've talked about, and something we've talked to a few filmmakers about as well. So it's something that I could see happening, and particularly with films that have played the festival that haven't got the distribution deal, because the distribution deal, a lot of time, that's where they're going to maybe get some upfront money and things like that, and those are deals that we can't necessarily afford to replicate, but.
Right.
And it's good for them. And when these films do get those deals, when they get their release, we're promoting for them even after the festival. Because,
exactly.
Our relationship with the filmmakers doesn't end when the festival's over.
Right.
We're not like, hey, thanks for coming. See ya.
See ya.
We
Never want to see you again.
We have filmmakers that have been, filmmakers that have been coming to us, 10, 15 years with films. And it's like, sometimes there's 10 years in between their feature films, but it's like getting on a bike, it's just like the same. Like, we just picked up where we left off with some of these people.
Yeah.
We stay in touch over the years. We're friends on Facebook. We know about their families.
Right.
They know about ours. And it's, we're pretty lucky that way, just because we put a lot of effort into getting to know our filmmakers and taking care of them.
Exactly.
I guess maybe it's not luck.
Yeah. There was somebody that said, why most independent filmmakers only make one film? Because they can't afford to make a second one.
Yeah, they max out their credit cards completely on the first one.
But,
it's
just
so true, and I feel bad because some of those films are so good, and then they're done. They have kids, and they have a family, and they can't. That's not going to pay the bills,
Exactly.
And I've said so many times that I have seen more independent films, both short and feature, that I find to be better than a lot of the big studio stuff that comes out.
Oh my God, yes.
100%. It's all because they're stories.
Exactly.
Because they can't fall back on special effects or star power. They've got that story, and a lot of them have been cultivating those stories for years. And they spent time, and there's so much heart and love and passion into those films that you're 100% that they are. So many of them are better than what you're going to see in the multiplex.
And largely they are, the independent film is 100% the vision of that creator, as opposed to a big studio film where the studio executives say, okay, we love this, we don't like that, change this. And then, they get their fingers into the creative mess, and then they completely ruin whatever beautiful project it might start it out as.
Yeah. And that's also one reason that we tell people up front, if they come to us with a film or whatever that they want us to review or look at or etc., that if we don't feel that we can do justice in a good review, or it's something that we just don't understand or is not in our wheelhouse or whatever, we're not going to give a bad review. It just we won't do that. Big studios that's a different thing, but for independent filmmakers, we're not going to give a bad review because we don't want to be. We don't need that bad karma, for one thing.
No,
they're not operating on the same budget level,
exactly.
And the same plane
exactly.
as the studio is.
And, at least we say if we don't think that we understand the subject matter or whatever, we're going to at least do a press release for you and hype it that way. So they get something out of us if they come to us, whether it's if we don't think that we can even at least give a middle of the road review.
I will at least give a mediocre review, but if I have to go below that, then forget it, because I don't want to be the one who's stamping on their dreams, to be honest.
Exactly.
Because they did put a lot of their blood, sweat, and tears into this.
Maybe something we just don't.
Don't get it.
It's not our thing.
Yeah.
So we've seen a lot of those.
There's a lot of movies. There's a lot of movies that are good that are just not for me.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? It happens at the festival. There's films that I wouldn't have played, but it's not about me. It's about the audience.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like the horror and sci-fi festival. Like the Greasy Strangler.
Oh my god!
When we played that, I would have never watched that movie, but Monty, he was on board and he programmed it.
Of course he was.
Of course.
I can see Monty liking that.
He knows the genre.
Yeah, I can see Monty really eating that one up. Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta trust the people that you put into the programming.
Well, we're grateful to Monty because he turned us on to Surviving the Film Freaks, and we were so glad he told us that one.
Hey, I saw you guys in that.
We're in that movie. We make a cameo. Far out. Anyway, so it's Jason, it's been wonderful talking to you. We could talk to you for another hour, but we're up against the clock. So if people want to follow you, learn more about what you're doing and what the status of the Phoenix Film Festival is there any social media presence that they can follow you on and gain all that knowledge?
That's right. You always go to phoenixfilmfestival.com and get to all of our social through there. But we're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all those fun things that the kids today love so much.
Exactly. The kids today. I always say...
Also, there's a great short film about a studio totally screwing up a film. I'm going to send it over. I'm going to send a link to you, Keith. We had this film at our festival 15 years ago. You should check it out.
Oh, cool.
Love to see
The
it.
Old Man in the Studio.
We'd love to see it.
I just sent it over to you.
Yeah.
It's really funny.
Well, thank you so much, Jason, for being on our show this time.
Yeah, of course. It's good talking to you guys, always.
Hey, everybody. Jason Carney here. Phoenix Film Festival. You want to know about movies? You want to know about anything in the geek world? You're listening to the Two Gay Geeks.
It's always good to talk to Jason. He's always a lot of fun. And
He's a lot of fun, and it gives me a little bit more encouragement knowing that it's not necessarily canceled; it's postponed.
Exactly.
As far as Phoenix Film Festival is concerned, so it does give a sense of hope. And I agree with his perspective about film festivals to begin with. Anyway,
yeah. So that was, like I said, it's always good to talk to him, and hopefully we'll have something soon. Probably, well, who knows when everything is going to be back to normal. It's going to be, who knows anyway. Here's a few selected birthdays for April 13th through April 19th, 2020. April 13th, Ron Perlman.
The man of many masks.
Exactly. He was the Beast in Beauty and the Beast. He was...
Oh my goodness.
Hellboy. He always kind of plays bad boys with a cigar.
Or anti-hero. or at least an anti-hero.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What was that? Was it a Pixar film? He was a...
Ooh, was he in a Pixar film?
No. What was that silly thing? No. It was in... The Harry Potter... He was the barkeep in New York.
He?
No, in
New York.
In New York for Fantastic Beasts.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Yep. And it was definitely him, and he had a cigar. Anyway, that's Ron Perlman. Jonathan Brandis, actor, Sequest DSV, and he's one of the reasons that we run the suicide PSAs in every episode.
Yeah, he left us far too soon.
Him among others, so that people will know that they are not alone and that there is somebody to talk to, and please get some help. Then we have Guy Fawkes, the historical figure.
Somehow, remember the 13th of April just doesn't seem to work.
No, and well, that's his birthday. Oh. The gunpowder treason and plot was... November 5th.
Yes, I know, but I think I need to create a new poem.
Yes, and that was the whole gunpowder treason and plot was to murder James I and replace him with a Catholic monarch by blowing up the House of Lords. November 5th, subject of V for Vendetta, or at least the beginning and the whole point of it. Then we have Don Adams.
Don Adams!
Get smart, exactly. And Peter Davison,
the
actor, Doctor Who, was also in All Creatures Great and Small.
That's when I first saw him.
Father-in-law to David Tennant. Glenn Keane, animator, Disney animator, Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, Pocahontas, Treasure Planet, Tangled, son of Bill Keane, who was the animator or cartoonist for the Family
Circle. Yeah.
Family Circus.
Family Circus, that's it.
Yes. And then Bill Conti.
Stickman,
exactly.
According to Julia Roberts.
Exactly. The Right Stuff, Rocky, For Your Eyes Only, and a Stickman at the Academy Awards.
Yeah.
Yes. April 14th, Peter Capaldi. Another doctor. He was also in Torchwood. And let's see.
Was he in Torchwood?
Yes, he was a character in Torchwood.
I don't remember him. I remember him appearing as somebody else in a David Tennant Doctor Who episode, but I have no memory of him in Torchwood.
Yeah. And then I forgot to put Anne Sullivan on this teacher.
Oh, my goodness. She was so important.
Keller. Yep. And then Christian Huygens. He was a physicist, mathematician, astronomer, and inventor. He studied the rings of Saturn. He's known for the study of his rings of Saturn and discovery of Titan. He also invented the pendulum clock.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, which was the most accurate timepiece for over 300 years. First theoretical physicist, he used mathematical formulae to describe the laws of physics. Then we have Pete Rose, baseball player. I'll just leave it at that.
Leave it at that.
John Gielgud, actor in Arthur, Murder on the Orient Express. Shakespearean actor, contemporary of Laurence Olivier at the Old Vic Theater. And then we have a classmate of mine, Chris James, and Worthy Meacham, a.k.a. Mama in L.A. April 15th, Emma Watson. Whoops, where's my... Oops.
Did you lose something?
It jumped again. Sorry. April 15th, Emma Watson, actress. She played Hermione. Leonardo da Vinci, inventor, artist, and if you look at his Wikipedia page, there's like 14 other things.
I'm not surprised.
He did everything. He really was
the Renaissance man.
In the Renaissance period.
Yes.
Exactly. The Renaissance man. And wow, just everything. Emma Thompson.
I adore
actress.
her.
She was Madame Trelawney in Harry Potter.
Nanny McPhee.
Saving Mr. Banks. Mm-hmm. And then we have Luke Evans. He was the Bard in The Hobbit, Gaston in the new Beauty and the Beast. Out gay man since the start of his career. He said he didn't want that hanging over him and wind up as so many closeted gay men in the entertainment industry.
It seems to have worked for him because his career seems to be doing fairly well, getting a lot of mainstream roles.
Yep, exactly. Elizabeth Montgomery.
Samantha.
Bewitched. 254 episodes.
It was a popular show.
I loved that show.
Who didn't love that show?
Oh, yeah. Glenn Shaddix is an actor. He was, as well as a voice actor, who was Otho in Beetlejuice. He was the mayor in Nightmare Before Christmas. He was the Brain and Monsieur Mallah in Teen Titans animated series. And then we have Michael Ansara.
How appropriate. We should just watch the episode Blood Oath from Deep Space Nine with him in it.
Well, not only him, but John Colicos and William Campbell.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
I mean, that was such a coup. But I've always had this fondness for Michael Ansara. I mean, he has this very icy kind of almost angry delivery, but he is such a presence.
Yep. He was also in Babylon 5.
Yes.
Geometry of Shadows.
Geometry of Shadows, yeah.
And then we have Charles Wilson Peale, painter. He painted almost all of the early U.S. historical figures of the Revolutionary period. And
didn't we see some of his artwork when we were in Philadelphia?
Exactly. At the Second Bank of the United States has a large collection. Oh my! It's just tears.
They are, but they're so well done that
at
times you look at them, and even though these are paintings, there are moments. It's like he almost captures their spirit. There's some kind of witchcraft going on there in the way he painted them. Because I thought they were going to talk to me.
It was quite the experience to see some of those paintings that are iconic. Mm-hmm. So that was really nice. April 16th, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, basketball player, played for the LA Lakers in the last of his career, and then he is still the leader of all-time points scored, 38,387 points.
I best know him from Airplane.
And 1,560 games played. Charlie Chaplin, actor, best known for his portrayal of the Tramp. He started in the silent era and worked up until just before his death in 1977.
Wow.
As co-founder of United Artists. Henry Mancini, composer. Wow, what a...
Phenomenal composer.
Some great music.
And Victor Victoria.
Yep.
I always come back to that. I think that is his finest work. It may not be what he's most remembered for. I think people will always turn to the Pink Panther theme.
The Pink Panther, Hatari.
Yeah,
but Days of Wine and Roses.
Yeah, but when you listen to the music in Victor Victoria, you are just swept away by this such incredible depth of emotion in everything that he wrote in that music.
Yeah, and one of my very first 8-track tapes, yes.
We're dating ourselves.
I am that old, was the best of Henry Mancini. Peter Billingsley.
You'll shoot your eye out.
Ralphie, exactly. And Peter Ustinov, actor, the old man in Logan's Run.
Oh, yes.
And among other things. And then we have friend Donna Tomasi.
Mrs. Technorama.
And Ben Calamer, film critic, and Facebook friend Jenny Stang. April 17th, Sean Bean.
Can he find himself a project where he doesn't get killed?
In National Treasure, yes.
That's right. He just goes to jail.
He He was Boromir, Ned Stark, a ton of TV stuff. Oh, my gosh. And then, obviously, National Treasure. Don Kirshner.
Wow.
Producer, Monkeys, the Archies.
Kansas,
yes.
I mean,
I put that last on purpose.
Thank you. But if it weren't for him, Kansas would not have gotten the big break they needed to become the band that, I mean, let's be honest. Carry On Wayward Son and Dust in the Wind are two of the most played songs on classic FM radio.
Exactly. Siegfried Jerusalem,
Opera singer.
And he played his namesake at the Met, Siegfried, in the Wagner's Ring Cycle. David Tennant.
Whoa.
I didn't... Oh, wow, there's a whole... Oh, wait.
His three friends.
Hang on. I messed that up. Because that's supposed to be a different date. Sorry. And then we have several friends on April 17th. If they would quit jumping around on me. Andrea Van Scoyoc, Sam Roberts, and Bruce Dellis, who was the director of Raising Buchanan, which is going to be
that movie.
Out on VOD May 5th, I think.
Oh, you
Something
have
like
to
that.
see this movie.
Oh my gosh.
It is wonderful.
And with René Auberjonois.
I loved him.
He was brilliant in that film.
I just loved that movie.
It's such a great film. We saw that last year at Phoenix Film Festival at its premiere. Mm-hmm. So it was a great thing. April 18th, David Tennant.
The son-in-law to Peter Davison, who we had just a little while ago.
Exactly. He was also Doctor Who, and he was in the series Poldark and Jessica Jones.
That's right.
Eric Roberts,
who was the master
in the Paul McGann
Doctor Who.
We got
It's a very Doctor Who week.
Very heavy Doctor Who week. And then Rick Moranis, who actors, Spaceballs, Little Shop of Horrors, Ghostbusters, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Well, they did do that for Disneyland.
Yes.
But he's coming out of retirement to do another Honey, I Shrunk the whatever.
Exactly.
Although that might be on hold because of the disease.
Yes. He took a hiatus in 1997 to raise his kids and did some voiceover work during that time. Made a special appearance, his voice, on the Goldbergs in 2018 as Dark Helmet.
That's right.
And they're rumored to be in pre-production for a sequel to Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. America Ferrera,
Ugly
actress.
Betty.
Ugly Betty, exactly. Jane Leeves, actress. Daphne Moon.
Daphne.
On Frasier. And she started out on Benny Hill and was a dancer in Life of Brian.
Oh, my goodness. Now I got to watch Life of Brian again.
And then Leopold Stokowski. Leopold. Famed conductor. Everybody knows him in Fantasia. And he was the conductor of many, many orchestras and founded several different orchestras in the United States. And just 60 years he conducted from 1909. Wow. Anyway, April 19th, Hayden Christensen, actor. Forever. He was in an episode of Forever Night, and he was in Attack of the Sith Clones. Right?
Yeah. Very good. Nice how you managed to do that.
Put both of them
very
together.
clever.
Very clever. Tim Curry, actor, Rocky Horror, and many, many other things.
We just saw him in The Shadow recently.
Exactly. And Natalie Dessay, opera singer, she does the best interpretation of Olympia. In the Chanson d'Olympia from
Tales of Hoffman.
Tales of Hoffman. It's the doll song, if you want to know. And then we have Dudley Moore, actor, played Arthur in the two Arthur films. And that's it for the birthdays this time.
Hi, this is Holly. You're tuned in to Krypton Radio. It's sci-fi for your Wi-Fi.
Go give a listen to our friends over at Krypton Radio. They have lots of different shows, and they even carry our show at 3 a.m., 3 p.m. Pacific time on Tuesdays. And Gene Turnbow is the station manager there. And go give a listen to all of their geeky content that they have, a 24-hour geeky internet radio station.
I'm Daniel Radcliffe, and I believe that reaching out for help is the bravest thing a person can do. If you are struggling and need support, call the Trevor Lifeline at 1-866-488-7386. It's free and confidential, and trained counsellors are there to listen 24/7 without judgment. To learn more about the Trevor Project's life-saving work for lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, or questioning young people, go to thetrevorproject.org.
We want to give a shout out to the Joshua Tree Feeding Program. It is a 501c3 nonprofit food pantry for the HIV and AIDS community in Maricopa and Pinal counties. Joshua Tree offers a place where clients can select from a wide assortment of nutritional foods to take home. They set it up as a store so the clients can pick and choose the food that they prefer, and it empowers them so no food is wasted. They're actually right now during this pandemic time, they are all gloved and masked and washed and all of that kind of neat stuff, and they could certainly use your help. If you want to support Joshua Tree, either with a single gift or a monthly recurring gift, you can do that if you'll go to jtfp.org. They would really appreciate it.
Okay, got a little bit of feedback here. A little bit, right. Starting off with Two Gay Geeks episode number 263, we had some birthdays in that episode, and they were for Matt Hayes and Mark Ross, and they both give their thanks. From Matt says, thank y'all, and Mark Ross says, thank you. Oh, but now for the fun one. This is regarding Ben's breakdown, Doctor Who season-ending thoughts. Wow, this was good. First, we got a comment from Arkle. He says,
here it comes.
Yeah, here it comes. He quotes me first by saying, it violates established canon, or at the very least severely warps and bends it so that it will fit with the new direction the series is going. Now, that's what he quoted from me. He then finishes off by saying, which is nothing new for Who. It's really only been since the 2005 relaunch that the show has leaned more on continuity, occasionally to the detriment of the storytelling. Hey, they can't all be Babylon 5, but to paraphrase the great YouTuber Diamanda Hagen, the concept of Doctor Who canon has always been fluid at best. The show has about 3 different and mutually exclusive canon explanations for the lost continent of Atlantis, after all. Honestly, I'm a bit perplexed of the people who are not only surprised that a hammer is being taken to the old Doctor Who canon, not saying they have to like it, just that they shouldn't be shocked, but that think this is unique to Chibnall's run. Gallifrey not existing anymore when the relaunch started under Russell T Davies was that. The War Doctor and Gallifrey being brought back under Moffat's was that. Heck, the show was rewriting the history of the Doctor and the Timeless as far back as when William Hartnell was the Doctor. Again, no one is required to like the new status quo. That I can respect. I just think the backlash to this is wildly overblown. The Doctor Who showrunner made a choice some fans didn't like. Must be a day ending in Y. Okay. I'll accept that on face value. I don't agree with everything you just said, Arkle, but my explanation still stands. However, I love what was followed up by Hicks, my Doctor Who buddy from my Slice days. Hickerson comes in and says, I can see what Chibnall was trying to do here. He was trying to do for the new series what Robert Holmes did for Classic Who. If I recall correctly, the Deadly Assassin forced a radical re-examination of the Time Lords and wasn't embraced upon first airing. Of course, Assassin has gone on to be considered a classic. And I do want to add one thing. Yes, the Deadly Assassin was not embraced, but that's largely due to Mary Whitehouse, because she found the episode to be far too violent for that particular time of viewing. And there are some people that think that maybe they didn't like the way the Time Lords kind of got retrofitted into this new aesthetic. Oh. Anyway, he continues, so it feels like Chibnall is trying to do for New Who what Robert Holmes did. The problem is Chibnall isn't in the same league as Robert Holmes. Oh, whoops. You're preaching to the choir, Hicks. You're preaching to the choir.
Robert Holmes was probably the best scriptwriter ever.
Oh, God, I loved his stuff. When it comes to writing for Doctor Who, Chibnall's scripts, his scripts, are poorly paced, and if there's a moral, it's about as subtle as a 2x4. And then he writes parenthetically, only modern writer close to Holmes is Moffat. And then he adds another parentheses. I pause now for Ben's head to explode.
Exactly.
Actually, Hicks, I agree with you on that one. Because
although he took some liberties, too.
Oh, well, when he became showrunner, he became a nightmare. But when Russell was the showrunner and Moffat just wrote episodes, I thought those episodes were some of the best that the Doctor Who era had to produce at that time. So I get what he's saying, and I agree with it. Anyway, we go on. I feel we're getting the modern Who equivalent of the Colin Baker years. Good actor in the role, scripts that aren't up to snuff. I'll take that, yes.
Colin Baker or Sylvester McCoy?
Well, no. Oh, I'm going to go with Colin Baker on that one.
Okay.
I really will, yeah. It's not also helped by what I see as Whittaker not really inhabiting the role so much as giving us a blend of Tennant and Smith. Interesting analysis. Maybe the news that her TARDIS team is shrinking will help things since it feels like the companions are unmemorable at best. As for the Master, I agree. I wanted to see him set up a plan that involves him taking over the universe with an ally, all in the hopes of humiliating the Doctor first, and then not having thought it all through and having to ask the Doctor to help bail him out. See also pretty much every Pertwee Master story.
Exactly.
Thank you, Hickerson. I love you for saying that. And while Spyfall may have made the Master a threat again, I don't think the Timeless Children did anything to enhance the character.
It just made him a lunatic.
It made him an insane lunatic. Hicks, you and I, 100% same page. Thank you very much. That is our feedback.
Yep. And if you want to leave a comment and receive the wrath of Ben or not, you can do that on our Facebook page. You look up TG Squared Studios. We post everything on our Facebook page. You can comment there. You can comment on our YouTube episodes. You can comment Twitter and Instagram, as well as at tggeeks.com on every article and episode that we do. You'll receive a shout out in a future episode. And if you listeners want to leave us a voicemail, you can do that.
Please, we love voicemails.
Exactly. And we'll play that on air so you can be famous too. Call 469-TG-GEEKS. That is 469-844-3357. And as always, please play nice. We are huge supporters of independent creators, whether it's filmmakers, comic book artists, writers, or others. As you know, Jason, most of the filmmakers at Phoenix Film Festival are independent filmmakers. I mean, probably 90% or more are independent filmmakers. Please support them, especially right now. I mean, check out their online presence, buy their stuff, tell other people about their stuff, tell other people about them that you enjoy their stuff. So they go look up those artists and, creators, etc. And please support your independent creators. Okay, where are we now? Oh, okay. If you are trans or are questioning your gender identity, and if you are in crisis or are feeling isolated and need someone to talk to, or you know of someone in a similar situation, there is a special hotline just for you. The hotline is provided by translifeline.org and staffed by trained counselors who are transgender themselves. The hotline in the U.S. is 877-565-8860. In Canada, it is 877-330-6366. Or you can go to translifeline.org to learn about the important work they are doing. Please reach out for help. You are not alone.
Yeah, baby. They're like two gay geeks. They're together, They're two gay guys and they're geeks. Is that okay?
Real quickly, in our second segment here, we were alerted to something, and
I think we ran an article on it.
Did we run an article? I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe we did.
Andrew Lloyd Webber has been releasing some of his shows, one a week, and they play Friday through Sunday on The Shows Must Go On YouTube. First was Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat, and then this week,
just in time for Easter,
was Jesus Christ Superstar. And it's great to see and hear some of Weber's music and some of his early stuff. Those were his two
earliest pieces.
So then I think Cats is next.
Cats is probably going to be the next one. And then
who knows? Hopefully.
Maybe Roller Express.
Yeah. And then hopefully we'll get Phantom at some point.
Oh, I'd love it if we can get Phantom, especially if it's a really good production, because these are actual stage. Well, Joseph, I kind of question. I'm not going to call it a sort. It was like a
stage movie
thing. But I'm not criticizing it. Quite the contrary. I actually loved it. I thought it was phenomenal. It was so much fun.
Yeah, it was the Donny Osmond version.
Yeah, the Donny Osmond version. Yeah. I adored it to no end. I'm going to probably buy that soundtrack. And I enjoyed the Jesus Christ Superstar. I mean, there were one or two artistic things that I thought I found a little questionable. But for the most part, I loved it. Treated as an actual rock opera.
Exactly.
Set in an arena as opposed to a Broadway stage play. So, yeah, I've been enjoying this, and I'm really, really appreciative of the fact that Weber is doing this. It gives us something new to look forward to each week.
Exactly.
Especially if you like musicals. And, I know that Weber's a very divisive composer, but if you're one of these people that enjoys his work, then, check this stuff out. There's some really good content there, and I'm really glad that he's doing this.
Exactly.
And here are the things that we ran on our website at tggeeks.com this past week, starting with Sunday, April. Whoa.
Yeah. No, it's not May yet.
No, it is not May yet. I was looking at the 5 on the date, and I got totally confused there for a moment. No, actually, starting with April 5th, Dr. Zombie, Monster Family Physician, number 95.
95.
Then 95. You're closing in on 100 there, Tommy. You have to do something really special for that one. And then on Monday, April 6th, TG Geeks episode number 268. We had nothing on Tuesday the 7th. And then on Wednesday the 8th, Quarantine Viewing Options, thrilling action films available to stream on HBO, TBS, and TNT. Seeing a new wave of the future here, people.
Exactly.
And then on Thursday, April 9th, new unscripted series, We're Here, debuts April 23rd on HBO. And then on Friday, April 10th, 5 Questions with AJ Mattioli, director of Neon Boys. And that is what we ran. And we'll have each of these as links in the episode article for this at tggeeks.com. Have to give some shout-outs. First to the Arkle Times Post-Dispatch News put out by the Human Arkle. Yes, you heard feedback from him earlier in this episode. You can find the Times Post-Dispatch News by finding him on Twitter. You do that by searching for Arkle at ARKLE. And speaking of Arkle, he has the Shameless Cash Grab on YouTube. He's in season 4, and he has already started episode 3, The Killing Machine. Is that where he's still at? Do you know?
Yes, he's still.
So you can find him by going to youtube.com/Arkle Studios, ARKLESTUDIOS. Yes, all one word. And then we need to give some shout outs to a couple of Facebook groups for also allowing us to share all of our content there. You can first go to Gay Geeks After Hours. Big thanks to the moderators for literally allowing us to share away our content. Their URL is facebook.com/groups/Gay Geeks After Hours. And then to The Gay Geek for also allowing us to share our stuff. Their URL is facebook.com/groups/The Gay Geek. And as always, we must give special thanks to their moderator, Jeremiah Reeves.
Thank you, Jeremiah. And lastly, we can now be found on Spotify, TuneIn, Stitcher. Well, as we always are found there. I don't know why we say we are now.
We need to change that.
We are always found on Spotify, TuneIn, Stitcher, as well as where other fine podcasts can be found. Also, check us out on Krypton Radio at 3 a.m. and 3 p.m. Pacific Time on Tuesdays, and listen to their other content. They're a 24-hour geeky internet radio station. Please rate us and review us on iTunes, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel where you can listen to our episodes and surf the internet on your device. Okay, that should do it for this episode of TG Geeks Webcast. Be sure to check out the article for this webcast episode. We're going to have links of several things we talked about, as well as to the Phoenix Film Festival. And remember, you can comment on our Facebook page or our website, tggeeks.com. Or you can leave us a voicemail at 469-TG-GEEKS. That is 469-844-3357 from TG Squared Studios. I'm Keith Lane. Thanks for listening. Please be kind to yourself and stay home and stay safe. Peace.
Cheers.